Hello pretty makers. This is part 2 of the Dollar Tree DIY Make Your Own Wood Slice. Part 1 was pretty popular, and to be honest, I'm now obsessed with this look. This video will be chock full of tips to make it even easier, and use them in some very cool decor ways you just have to see. I'll review the process, or should I say the improved process, how to create the look. I'll show some new tips and tricks with each step that you don't want to miss, so keep watching. And then we'll do some styling that I think is really pretty. Oh yeah, there is a bonus at the end that I think you'll really enjoy, so keep watching. I had a lot of fun making these DIYs and I can't wait to show you. So if you're ready, let's go make something pretty. The first step is to choose the shape you want to make. When I saw these Dollar Tree Valentine signs, they were the perfect size. They're a little shorter than the typical Dollar Tree long sign and a little wider. So they reminded me more of a wood plank. I wanted to make something I could use as a table runner or centerpiece, especially in my Easter decor this year. I'm kind of going for a woodland theme. I also have an idea how to use this in a really cool way later, so keep watching. First, fill the holes where the ribbon hanger was with some plain spackle, so you have a nice smooth surface. To prep your pieces, add Jenga blocks to the decorative side of one of the Valentine signs. I did have a few questions if these slices are strong. It's the Jenga blocks that really help make it strong. Get them close to the edge, especially if your sign is a little warped, which mine were. As well, add them to the center for stability and strength. Next, glue the second sign on top, decorative side down. Give both sides a couple coats of cream-colored paint. I did 3 coats. I'm also going to make a larger round piece that I want to be multi-purpose. Here's your first shortcut. Use foam board. It's cheaper and it's pretty strong once you put it together. I traced the Dollar Tree charger onto the foam board and cut it out. After I was a little ways into the project, it occurred to me to make it a little less round, which would be even more realistic. I was a little too far into the project, so if you give that a try, let me know in the comments how it looks. Prep this piece the same way as the first. Add Jenga blocks to the center. Put a few extras if you have them because this is foam board. Then a couple coats of paint on each side. Now let's start making the bark edging. Measure and cut strips of poster board that will fit the gap for each piece. Make sure you measure as accurate as possible, but no worries if you go over, it can be trimmed easily later if necessary. Cut enough strips to cover all your edges. Another quick tip would be to use black poster board. It would definitely blend a lot better overall. The next step is to mix the lightweight spackle. Add some black flat paint to the spackle and mix well. Use enough paint to thin the spackle into icing consistency and make it fully black. Here's another tip. Using fresh spackle works a lot better. I had some old spackle and it was a little dried out, which made it harder to mix and left some lumps. It worked fine, it just took a little more effort. Now ice the strips with the black spackle. You don't want to be too neat here. The more bumpy the better to get that bark look. Using a toothpick, make horizontal lines all the way down the strip. Some close together, some far apart. This is what really makes it look like bark. By the way, you don't have to do really long strips. You can make smaller pieces if it makes it easier for you to handle. It all comes together in the end. Let the strips dry overnight. This is important. They have to be completely dry. Once dry, knock off any loose bits and get ready to paint. This is where they really start to come to life. We're going to go from dark to light. Starting with dark brown, paint over the strips, covering most of the black, but not all. You really can't mess this up. There's no special technique. Just have some fun. Next, add some medium brown, a little less heavy than the dark brown. And finally, the lightest brown as the last layer. Here I just wanted to show you what the older spackle does. You can see little bits of white peeking through. No worries, just cover it with paint. Now let's make the surfaces look like wood. For the round, I did the same treatment as the tiers in the first tutorial on the 3-tiered tray, except for one important part which I'll get to in a second. Make a mix of medium brown paint with clear wax, about 3 parts wax to 1 part paint. Here's the tip. Add a layer of clear wax to the surface of the round first. This will allow the paint to float a little better. Using a comb or wood graining tool, remember you can use the cake decorating tool from Dollar Tree for this step. Dip the points into the paint mixture. Start making lines. Go all the way around the outside first, then work your way into the center. Take a clean brush dipped in just wax and start to blend the lines. I like it to look a little more blended. But if you like the look of solid lines, you can skip this step. Use the tip of the brush to swirl and make the center knot. This was a little less scary this time after practicing on the first project. For the plank, it's similar, but I used the other part of the wood graining tool. If you don't have the tool, you could use Dollar Tree's wood grain shelf liner. I actually really like this idea. It's definitely a shortcut. But I didn't have enough of the light shelf liner. I do have the darker and may see what that looks like a little later, so keep watching. I added a layer of wax to the surface first, just like in the first piece. Then I painted some of the paint mixture onto the tool. Pull and rock the tool down the surface to make the design. I think it came out okay. This was the first time using this tool. What do you think? Now let's put it all together. Start gluing the strips to the edges of the pieces. The wood plank was pretty easy because it's straight. It just instantly comes to life on this step. As you can see, the strip was a little wide. but you can easily trim off any excess. You can't even tell. This stuff is very forgiving. On the round, I made a long strip. The tip here is to start gluing the strip in the center. This will help make sure the strip stays aligned. If it starts to get a little crooked, you can cut it and start gluing again. Like I said, this stuff blends together nicely. It's very forgiving. Keep going until you've covered all the edges all the way around. And that's it, you're done. Here are some ideas for using these pieces. The plank can be used for the base of a centerpiece or a table runner. Or how about as a tray? Add some handles to either side and you have an instant tray. Check that out. I think that's so cool. Put a little crudité on top for some great party decor. You can use the round as a charger for a pretty farmhouse rustic place setting, or the base of a centerpiece. But how about as a backdrop to a sign? I added some crystal chain to hang it. I like the mix of farmhouse and glam. And a little hook, thumbtack, so I can hang a sign. Now I can just change out the sign for the different holidays and seasons. Or even use it as a backdrop to a wreath. It's very versatile and can be used in so many decor options. Here's the bonus. I added a strip of bark to the small Dollar Tree wood round. Then decorate the surface any way you want to match your decor. This would be a great way to practice this technique on a smaller scale. It's just like you can't go wrong with this technique. You have to give it a try. I hope you saw something today that inspired you. If you did, please subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook. If you have any questions, leave me some comments. I thank you for watching and keep making pretty things.